Hello and welcome to the Real Entrepreneur Hustle with me, Steve Woody. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about time versus money. Why this is important, and you need to understand this concept because as entrepreneurs, when we're starting out in business, it's very easy to get overwhelmed with all of the things that we need to do. And whilst most people may tell you how easy it is to make a lot of money very quickly without a lot of time or effort, the reality is that there's a lot that needs to go on behind the scenes. And I'll be the first one to admit this. It's taken me a long time to be able to earn money quickly. I'm going to say that again just so you understand it. It has taken me a long time to be able to earn money quickly. As a result, there's a lot of processes, a lot of systems, a lot of things that I've got in place now to help me. But at the start, they weren't there. And I'm hoping just with a bit of my hindsight that today in this episode, you get to understand the difference and the value because, look, money we can earn. It's always possible to earn money. There's always things we can do, and earning lots of money isn't difficult. It's just a process. The hardest thing about earning £1 million is earning £1. Once you've got a system, you just need to replicate and scale. And so it's just a process of time. And how much time depends on the systems, the value, and the other things. But the reality is that time is invaluable. You can't get it back. Once you've spent your time, it's gone. And we've only got a finite amount. So you need to make sure that you invest your time wisely. This is why when people say to me, oh, why would you have a cleaner in your house? Well, the reality is you need to look at what it is that you value your time at. And so if you could get a cleaner to come into your house at £10 per hour and you value your time at £20 per hour, then it's cost effective. It makes sense to have a cleaner as long as during that time when the cleaner is there, you're using that time productively to earn money. Therefore, somebody could, if they spent 3 hours cleaning your house, you could effectively still earn £30. Because at £20 an hour, 60, paid a cleaner 30, you've still got 30 left. Simple maths. Now you can scale that onto many different levels. One of the things that I'd ask you to consider is, what is your time worth? If you had to put a monetary value on your time, and don't just say £10,000 an hour, because the reality is it's got to be what somebody is willing to pay. If you say your time is worth £1,000 an hour, that's fantastic. But if no one's willing to pay you £1,000 an hour, and if you can't earn £1,000 an hour, then that is not what your time is worth. And this is a lot of the problems that we see on social media when people say we had to earn such a large amount of money very easily, and it's unfortunately not always true. And as much as we want to believe this, as entrepreneurs, the reality is that when you start your business, not only will you probably earn less money at the start, but you will probably invest more time. And so in those early days when you're getting everything off the ground and you have to learn all of these different systems and processes and everything from running a company to running people to managing yourself, and if you work from home, it's even worse because there's no divide between office and personal life and they can merge together. This whole laptop lifestyle that people talk about, it's very overrated because you can never switch off from it. And so you have to be disciplined. And you have to manage your time effectively. There's a fantastic course by Tony Robbins. It's called Time of Your Life. I highly recommend it. It talks about the things that you're doing. Are they a distraction or are they pushing you towards an outcome? And also, if you're doing these things, is it something that's important? Or is it, because there's things that may seem important, but they're not. And things that may seem urgent, but in reality, they're not. And you can find yourself spending a lot of time doing things that eat up your time, but don't necessarily drive you towards your outcome. A great example of this for me is Facebook. I spend a lot of time on social media. I love to connect with people, I love to interact, but at the same time, as much as I use Facebook for my business and for good, it's also a distraction. It also holds me back from doing a lot of things that I could do because I spend a lot of time on there. And so I have to manage that time effectively. And I have to make sure that I have systems in place to help me. One of the things that I find funny on my website is I have the live chat widget enabled so that when someone comes into my website, they can start a conversation. Now, it's either going to be myself or my team, but I love to have that app enabled on my phone because I love to have the systems in place that allow me to jump in if I want to. Remember, it's about working on your business, not in it. And it's about having the choice, about doing it because you choose to, not because you need to. I choose to talk to people on my website when they visit because I love doing that. I don't need to do it, I like to do it. And there's a big difference. So it's making sure that you value your time. But more importantly than valuing your time is that you have the systems in place to assist you for that time. So if you're going to be doing something for a period of time, making sure that it is as effective as possible. Because we could all say we're hustling for 15 hours a day, but how much of that time is actually productive? How much of that time is actually spent doing things that are going to push you to earn money in your business? And this is where it can become very beneficial to hire people, to bring other people in. Because you will never have a true appreciation of time and money until you are paying somebody else for their time with your money. And when you do that, when you have that ability to be able to pay wages, and this goes back to what I said at the beginning in video 1 when I talked about Derry, you will only ever have 2 problems in your business. It's either going to be a cash problem or a talent problem. If it's a talent problem, it's because you don't have the money. And if you don't have the money, it's because you don't have the talent. So it's not about using your time, it's about effectively using other people's time. And if they're happy because they're getting paid, they're financially rewarded for their time, so they have that security, they have that self-worth, they love what they do and they want to do it and they're getting paid for it, and you can utilize their time, that's how you can scale. That's how you can grow. The reality is that as an entrepreneur, we're not always in that position up front. And it helps to have like outsourcing websites, to have things like Upwork, what used to be Elance, People Per Hour. I know there's Fiverr, which it can be good for some things. But it's worth considering how you're going to invest your time and how to invest other people's times to maximize the potential income that you can generate in your business. And so for me, as an entrepreneur, when I started out, I didn't have this information may have been available, but it wasn't readily available. It's why I'm doing this series so that you can have this information, because I would have loved to have had this. I could have saved so much time had I have known this information at the start. Because I was not in a position to hire people. I was not in a position financially where I could afford to bring in a team. I had to do everything on my own. And because also I didn't know how to do everything, especially in my world, there was design, there's development, there's marketing, there's business relationships, there's lots of different things that I need to consider within my company. And I'm not an expert in every area. And so it was difficult because I couldn't be the best I wanted to be in every different area. And I couldn't bring in the people, so it left me to think, how can I use systems? Because that was the answer for me. It was, if I can't bring in people, what's the next best thing? And the next best thing is leveraging technology. If I can leverage technology to be able to assist and help me to a point where I can grow and scale so that I can invest that money back into other people's talent, then that was a winning formula. And so I started to ask the question, what systems do I need? And it's very easy to get carried away. There's so many different systems out there. You can purchase a lot of different things that may seem like they'll help you, but it can actually be a distraction. And there's a lot of systems out there that are going to cost you a lot of money, and you may think you're paying a premium for something good, but the reality is there's cheap alternatives that do a good, if not better, job. And so you really need to understand, what systems do you need in your business to allow you to scale to the next level. And now I said next level because it's not about the end result. It's not about, I want to be there now. There is a process and you need to go step by step. The systems that you need in 12 months are maybe not the systems that you need now. Maybe not even the systems you can afford right now. At the same time, you want to make sure that you're investing in systems that can help you to scale. You don't want to buy something now which in 3 or 4 weeks' time is going to be outdated or you're going to have outgrown. So you need to understand that whatever systems that you're purchasing for your business as an investment, not a cost. Remember, we talked about this before. It's about an investment because your business is an asset. Robert Kiyosaki talks about assets and liabilities, and this is all about an asset. This is going to generate you income. So you need to make sure you're getting a return on your investment. So whatever you spend in your business, you need to understand how you're going to get a return on that. So the systems that you start with, the most important systems that you need in a business to start up as an entrepreneur, if you have products and services, is you would ideally have a website. You don't need a website, but ideally you will have a website. But more importantly than that, you need a brand. You need to start building up positioning in the marketplace. Whatever it is that your industry is, wherever your customers are, you need to understand it. You need to position yourself as a key person of influence, as somebody who has assets and who has leverage within an industry. You can use a website to help you do that, to build up information, to allow people to interact, even to purchase, to nurture through the post-sales process. But what you really need to understand is the power behind a website. See, a website sometimes is a distraction, and you need to understand that. Once you've positioned yourself with your brand, and once you have your website, it should drive people into what is called a CRM. A CRM is a customer relationship management system. And what you really need to understand and know about the CRM is it builds a picture. The reason it builds a picture is because it gathers data from what you type in, from what you give it, from the website, from all the interactions you have with current and potential customers, and it allows you to effectively manage your time. So when you are looking at who is a hot prospect and who is cold, who is warm, who you can talk to, who's interacted with you recently, and it allows you to have access to all of that information in one place quickly and effectively to save you time, so that you can talk to and nurture the people who are ready to buy from you, build a picture up to help you, do market research, gather intelligence, all of these things to help save you time. To create online courses on your website, to be able to deliver your content. So rather than doing one-to-one, you can deliver one-to-many, maybe through a webinar, maybe through Facebook Lives, maybe through any platform that is relevant to your audience. There are a lot of different things that you can do right now. For me, on my website, I have a getting started questionnaire. I filter people through a process, asking them some questions. Now, I only had to invest my time to create that questionnaire once, and now thousands of people can go through and fill that in just because I've created the system to allow that. And not only that, but it filters them to the relevant landing page. So for whatever information they want, they get filtered into the right place. And it updates my CRM system so I can just log in and see a snapshot of everything that's been happening in my business while I've been away, while I've been sleeping, while I've been dealing with other clients, whatever may be happening in my life. Because here's the key thing that I've learned about all of this. We may be wanting to make money, we may be wanting to build a business, to have a legacy, to make an impact. The one thing with hindsight that I have learned is that in this entrepreneurial world, we need to balance. You need to be able to take time away from your business. These hustling 15 to 20 hours a day, they're not productive. It's not physically possible to be productive for that many hours. You can maybe have bursts of 2, maybe 3 hours at a time, but then you need a rest, then you need some time away. Same with creative people. You can't be creative constantly. You need to have some downtime. And so it's about not feeling guilty when you have that time off, but knowing that you're doing something different, that you're recharging, that you're doing something with your time to allow you to be more productive. And so either having the systems in place while you're away or the people in place so that you can manage your time effectively. At the end of the day, like I said, time versus money. Your time is very valuable. Money is also valuable, but money can be replaced. And it goes back to what I said at the beginning about how are you utilizing your time effectively. So what I'd really like you to do right now is just get a bit of paper, get a pen, and just write down all of the things that you do on a daily basis, all of your habits, all of your routines. And they don't necessarily have to be good habits, just all of the things you do. How long do you spend on social media? Well, in fact, let's go back to the beginning. Because rather than jumping straight in, let's look at when you wake up. How long does it take you to get out of bed in the morning? When your alarm goes off, are you the sort of person who's like, I'm awake, it's a new day, you jump up and you jump out of bed and you're like, or are you the sort of person who's like, oh, I need to snooze for another hour? What type of person are you? How long does it take you to wake up in the morning? For some people, they jump straight up and that saves time. For other people, it takes them a longer time, longer process. How long do you spend getting washed, getting shaved, or doing your ablutions in the morning, whatever it is you need to do, putting your makeup on? How long do you spend getting ready for the morning? How long do you spend on breakfast? Do you even have breakfast? Are you so rushed and time-starved that you can't take that time in the morning to nurture yourself and appreciate life? You need to understand what it is you're doing and how effective you are with your time. If you can set yourself up at the beginning of the day to be more proactive, then you're going to get better results. You're going to have better meetings. You're going to have better things that you do as a result. And so I urge you to consider and write down, how much time do you invest when you wake up, in getting up, in getting dressed, in having breakfast, in meetings, in business related activities, in talking to people, in socializing, in social media, in having fun, in downtime, in watching TV, in going out with friends, whatever it is that you're doing. I want you to write down, I want you to start to tally this up. I want you to do it for every day of the week. So effectively, what you should have is a daily time schedule, a weekly time schedule. You may want to consider a month, but the reality is most people aren't looking that far ahead. When you're here in the moment, especially if you're time starved, you're just looking at the next 5 minutes, the next activity, the next thing on the to-do list. And I can tell you now, a to-do list will never end. It is relentless, and if you don't manage it effectively, it will consume you. And we can all get caught up in this hustle. We can all get caught up in, feeding our ego by going on social media and saying, "Oh, I've hustled for 20 hours today." But really, all people are looking at is thinking, "Wow, really? You've hustled for 20 hours? Is that a really good use of your time? I don't want to be doing that." And people are looking at you thinking you're not effectively managing your time. It's not all about hustling. It's about balance. It's about enjoying life. It's about being able to put the systems in place to allow you to live the life you want. And that doesn't always have to be systems. It can be people. But in the initial stages, when you're starting out, it's remembering and it's understanding that your time is valuable and you need to utilize it in the best possible way, specifically when your time and money poor. So having good, effective systems in place, making sure you've got that CRM system, making sure you've got the website that does what it needs to do, that you've got the right systems there to assist you and to help you. And so do that now, and I would love it. I would really, really love it if you can tell me just one thing. What is it that takes up the majority of your time? What do you spend more of your time on than anything else? And for me, it's Facebook. I'll be honest, I'll put my hands up. I spend far too much time on social media. And I spend far too much time on social media not being effective, just scrolling, seeing what other people are doing, getting consumed. And I used to do this first thing in the morning. I would wake up and the first thing I did is I would roll over, get my phone and I would check Facebook. And I would just be bombarded with all of the crap and shit that's going on in the world. And that would be the start to my day. Before I even had any chance to have a good breakfast or to get up and to look after myself, to do any yoga or meditation or exercise or anything like that. It wasn't a good, effective way to start my day. And as a result, I would carry that energy throughout the whole day. And so it's really, really powerful when you can identify that one void that's sucking all of that time away from you and that energy. And if you can just be aware of it. Right now, all I want is an awareness. If you have an awareness, you can do something about it. Whether you do or not at the start doesn't matter. When I overcome being homeless, when I made that decision, when I fell out of my car that day and I said, "You know what, I'm going to make a change. I'm not going to live like this anymore." I didn't do anything about it, not there and then. It took time. But it was having that awareness. It was knowing that I wanted to change. It was knowing what was taking up my time that allowed me to put the things in place that I needed to be able to change. And so for me, what I really want for you right now is to just get that awareness. Hustling is great, but only when it's done effectively. Be smart. It's not about working hard, it's about working smart, and that's what I want for you. So write that down now, post in the comments below, let me know, reach out to me and let me know what is taking up the most of your time. And then we can look at putting a plan in place together on how we can overcome that and how you can look to be better managers of your own time. And remember, check out that program from Tony Robbins. It's called The Time of Your Life. You'll love it. It's a great program. I highly recommend it. Have an amazing day and I'll speak to you next week on The Real Entrepreneur Hustle.